Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. I'm out today with the Guncraft 22 WMR. This is an AR-15, as you can well see. This is the biggest semi-automatic 2.2 rimfire or 2.2 of any type you can have in the UK. So please stick with us and we'll give it a review. So essentially, what can I tell you on the highlights of this rifle? I rather like shooting it. To start with, I took the flash hider off. I'm not really bothered for flash hider, and of course the 1/2" 28 thread. It's not difficult to put a sound moderator on it. I think it adds to the looks, it also adds to the function, and a little bit to the operation, because I was advised, especially with some of the lower velocity ammunition, that the greater dwell time on the pressure would help the bolt cycle. I don't necessarily think it mattered that much, because even with the 33 grain ammunition, with which it wasn't recommended it would work, well, it did actually work. The 40 grain ammunition was even better though, and I have to say this is the recommended ammunition from Guncraft, and it did work beautifully. Shot a little bit better on target, and it also just made the action feel a little bit snappier. All its key mod fore end is excellent. I put an adapter on so I could add a Harris bipod, as you can see here, which was no big deal at all. The magazines is restricted from 14 to 13 rounds purely because of these 3D printed feed lips, but there is a new magazine being made. It's going to have an extension on the bottom, and that's going to go back up in capacity. The advantage of these feed lips and the way that this works is that it does give you a last round hold open, but you'll maybe notice on the video a couple of times I do fumble a little bit with the mag change, because I was advised that it's better, instead of letting it ride like that and drop the mag out, which of course will let the bolt go forward, and I'm going to do it once, so the bolt will automatically go forward. Well, I was advised that that does artificially wear the feed lips, and it's better to lock the bolt as normal using the bolt release before you drop the mag out. And I did do that on video a couple of times. Now, I think it's fair to comment, and hopefully you can see this on the ceiling camera, that there is a little bit of wear on this magazine follower already, because 3D printed polymers aren't the toughest, hardest thing in the world, but they will work, and if you use it as advised, it will be fine with a good lifetime. The downside of making something like that with greater material properties from injection moulding is you've got enormous tooling costs for making those moulds, and that's why, you know, we suffer slight compromise to give us greater functionality at the cost of a little bit of longevity. But I don't think these additional feed lips will be particularly expensive to replace if that was the case. And of course, if you follow the instructions and lock the bolt bag and don't use it as the mag release, it will be fine. I'm going to leave that out just so I don't exacerbate the situation. Loads of Picatinny rail on it. You can see I've put a little 1:6 hook scope on it, which I think just suits the rifle well and works more easily for me to shoot better groups with it. It's only a 6 power scope, but I think you'll see the groups are, you know, given a 6 power aiming solution at 50, 75 and 100 meters, the groups are actually quite stunning, to be honest. I did try extremely hard to shoot good groups with this gun. Of course, with it being not supremely noisy and not particularly expensive ammunition wise, I got to shoot some more. Ammunition was a little bit hard to come by at first. I had the subsonic lead soft points, which actually did shoot quite well. The downside was I did have to manually cycle every single round. There wasn't even a hint of blowback with those, because there's just not enough energy, and at the end of the day that's not what the gun's designed for. Initially with the 33s I got the odd misfeed, but actually that seemed to stop as soon as it was running with them, and perhaps it was just the fact the gun was extremely clean. It just needed to mucky itself up a little bit, and with the mod on, those worked rather well. They came out just over 2,000 feet per second, whereas obviously subsonic 1,000 feet per second ish. They came out just over 2,000 feet per second, and they're coming up at 310, 311 foot-pounds, something like that. You can see the chronograph on the video where we've got the 22 Aguila. These are semi-jacketed. I'll get one of these out. There are a couple left. I was very restricted on quantity of these. I literally had one box that Robert Guncraft sorted out for me, and these are an exposed soft point jacketed round, and I have to say it worked beautifully. You will see in the video I did a little bit of shooting from the vehicle, and I see no reason why you couldn't add this as a foxing rifle actually. And okay, it's never going to be as quiet as a bolt action because of the action noise, but in terms of speed for pest control, this, that and the other, it's very, very quick. And of course it's super compact because, you know, you can drop this down all the way to there. You know, it goes up to about 13.5-inch length of pull there, and it all goes all the way down there. So it's extremely compact to keep in the vehicle if you do use it as a foxing tool. Controls work fine. You've got the bolt release there, which obviously locks it back as well. Safety catch, no problem. The trigger, it's quite heavy. It's 2,300 grams, which is about 80 ounces. Reasonably, pop the safety catch off. It's reasonably crisp. You do get a little bit of creep with it, but nothing worrisome. And most importantly, it's very reliable and dependable because it works the same every time. There is a forward assist. Are you likely to use it? Very much, very unlikely. Dust flap there keeps the action clean. Obviously, if you are in mucky environments, you've got a dust flap, and mag release on the right side is conventional AR platform stuff. And the mags do just drop out cleanly, and that's with an empty mag, no weight in it from ammunition. So change over the quick, clean, straight in, rack the bolt, off you go. I'm just going to drop that back out again now. I was a bit cautious of damaging the feelers on that. The butt doesn't rattle too much. It's the usual sort of thing for an AR. You've got a sling swivel at the back there if you need it, and of course that locking latch there does make it quick and easy to change length of pull. You will notice on the video that that buffer spring inside, you do get quite a lot of bit of a twang off it. I don't think you're ever going to get over that, and the simple fact is that the bolt in this rifle, you know, it weighs about a pound. It's a heavy bolt because it's only a standard blowback action. There's no bolt, there's no gas piston like in a conventional AR-15 223. And whereas we're used to semi-automatic 2-2 rimfire, which doesn't need a huge amount of bolt mass and inertia to restrain it against that spring when the recoil actually generates the force to cycle the bolt back, well, you've quite a lot more force in a 2-2 WMR. And in the back of the bolt there is actually a brass weight, or it looks like a brass weight, which has been used to balance very finely the actual, if I can get this pin out here, to very finely balance, I'm just going to let that go forward, to very finely balance the actual inertia of the mechanism. And that bolt, it's over 400 grams. That's a heavy thing, and you've obviously got the locking forward assist. That's the residual of the gas blowback system there. You can see on here how the extractor claw has been offset slightly and lifted up. That's just to help functionality and durability and stop them getting bent. And of course, the ejector itself is on the inside wall of the action in here. It's very noticeable how tight the fit between the upper and the lower is. When you lock that pin back together, there is no rattle between the upper and the lower at all, and you know, in a good way, it just makes it a teeny little bit more difficult to separate. I need to try and remember how to put this together now. That goes in first. No, it doesn't. That. Slide that back together. In terms of action cleanliness, the huge joy of a 2-2 WMR over a 2-2 LR is the fact that you haven't got a load of waxy or greasy bullet lubricant and a load of lead residue being shaved off everywhere. And you do notice when cleaning the rifle, all I really did was just blast it out with an airline. If I look inside here, you won't see this on camera, I can see a little bit of firing debris in terms of residual powder which, you know, can be wiped out eventually, because there's a slight element of lubricity to that which makes it stick, but of course most of the powder will just blow out. And you can see on the video that you can see the gas discharge, you know, through the gun, out the side, and a little bit from the bottom as well, but there's nothing comes anywhere actually near your face. And these pins which lock the action together, because these two halves are very, very carefully fitted to make sure you don't have it all rattling, do make it a little bit more difficult to strip down. It's easiest to actually use a little bullet to just the plat to just push that pin out, because those pins are a beautifully tight fit. And that's the joy of precision on a let's just say a more hand-built, more hand-finished AR-15, as opposed to something that's just churned out of a factory. Given the build quality of the rifle and the fact it is all milled from 7075 aluminium, there's no real plastic involved anywhere here apart from the back end and the grip. I'll just fold it down. There is a scope on board at the minute. Overall weight, as we see it here, is 3,867 grams, and that is with the scope, the bipod, the moderator, the magazine, that is everything. So, you know, if you strip all those back, yes, it's a lot lighter than it is, but the balance of it and the actual operating capability of the rifle is really nice, and I enjoyed shooting it sitting, standing, prone, a little bit of kneeling. I really enjoyed it prone actually, and I remember to put a longer bipod on this time, so I had, you know, good clearance off the ground to get the mags in and out, which is, I've done it again, I've dropped that bolt forward without using the bolt release catch. I'm not an AR-15 specialist. I do rather like this one because with 22 WMR as opposed to 22 rimfire, it's got more energy, it's snappier, it's faster. The double taps just feel that little bit more crisp, and of course with a full metallic build, you do get a more realistic feel from the gun. The buffer spring inside, well, that's just life, isn't it? That spring's always going to make a little bit of noise, but you know, you get used to it. It doesn't bother you, and it's not as if it's reverberating and transferring energy through your cheek and ringing your brain like a heavy recoil or muzzle brake rifle is. So yes, I think I'm going to give this one a thumbs up, and I do like it, and I don't think it's horrendously expensive for the amount of time and effort that's gone into it for the development and tuning of it. This one's got the 14-inch barrel with a 12-inch forend. It's got a 1 in 14-inch twist rate as well. You can have it with a 12 or a 16 or an 18-inch barrel if you want to, you know, change the velocities, but they all have the same 1/2 by 28 thread. It's actually a heavy barrel within the handguard, and it actually just slims down out the front there, so you can use a larger moderator over it. This DPT moderator fits beautifully, and I have had no problems with it. With different ammunition as well, I didn't experience a huge point of impact shift at closer ranges between the subsonic and the high velocity. If you want to use it for rabbiting with the 40 grain soft lead bullet, it does virtually become a single shot with a straight pull action. And it is quiet, and it is still accurate, because this is definitely a sub MOA gun, pretty much with everything I've shot through it. And in fairness, I probably did the shooting a lot more quickly than I would with a conventional bolt gun, just because I enjoyed shooting it quickly, the double taps, the triple taps, things like that. And you'll see the results on paper that nothing really disappoints, other than the fact that I've actually videoed quite a few groups before it was precisely zero, but in the end, when it is precisely zero, you can see those bullets tapping into the centre of the targets, no problem, at 50, 75 and 100 metres. You can see me ringing some steel. They're not exactly close groups, but you know, it's great fun to just, you know, do those little double taps and a little bit of firing movement, changing supports. I shot it from the vehicle as well. So I'm a big fan. I am a big fan, and I can't help genuinely smiling about this gun, because I have done so much work with Smith & Wesson MP1522s, which are 2.2 LR, you know, 40 grain lead bullet, 1,000, maybe 1,200 feet per second, and a full plastic build. They're great guns. They come with little pop-up sights, and you can put these on as well, which makes them a little bit more accurate. But essentially they are what they are. Moving over to the WMR and just completely getting rid of all that lead and waxy ammunition lubrication fouling has been an absolute threshold for me. So I have changed my opinion. I think there is a place for this rifle, and this rifle particularly will certainly give you joy of ownership. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment, and don't forget to click the notification bell. And to be honest with you, the number of subscribers on my channel is what brings ammunition and reviews to you for free. So please don't forget to subscribe, so I can show the people who want to send me ammunition just how many people are watching my videos. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.